Did I request thee, Maker, from my clay to mould me man? Did I solicit thee from the darkness to promote me? Hello, and welcome to the Frankenpod, a podcast stitched together from the corpses of mystery, noir, and gothic literature and cinema. I'm Morgan, and I'm here to annoy you again with a bit more Frankenstein-related speculative nonsense. When Mary Shelley had that infamous dream of the creation lying on the floor and his creator slavishly working away at his unholy art, she was drawing on a long literary tradition of man's ambition to move from creature to creator. She gives a nod to that transition in the title by invoking the myth of Prometheus and the quote that precedes the narrative and this mini-episode. The quote is taken out of context from Milton's Paradise Lost, which explores the book of Genesis from the Bible. Paradise Lost documents the relationship between God, Adam, Eve, and Satan. Milton's poem does not necessarily side with God, and it's a very complex story, but this is not an episode about Paradise Lost. Thank goodness, because I am struggling to reread that hot mess of an epic poem. No, this mini-episode is about how Oscar Wilde and Mary Shelley both wade into the shark-infested water of the creation of a monster. We are very tentatively treading in the dominion of Jungian archetypes when we talk about the creator, and the term Jung might have used for the monster or creature would have been the shadow. There is also the very distinct echo of a birth myth whenever we approach a story of creation. Applying a fear of biological reproduction to Victor's actions and reactions is a very interesting exercise for another time. It's pretty obvious how Frankenstein can be seen as a creation myth, with Victor literally constructing a creature. However, viewing the picture of Dorian Gray as an allegorical tale of the creator and the shadow is a little more difficult and takes a little more complex thinking. A few players stand in line for both the role of the creator and the creature in the narrative. In the first instance, we could view Basil as the creator of the painting and the person who opens the door to the corrupting force that is Sir Henry. Basil slavishly paints the portrait as Victor slavishly works away at his creature. When Basil sees the thing that he has created in the decaying and tortured visage of the portrait, he seeks to destroy it. In the second instance, we can view the creator as Sir Henry as he actively corrupts Dorian, leading to Dorian's deal with the devil. In the third instance, we can view Dorian as the creator who creates the monster when he imbues the painting with a life force. This final theory has a few key commonalities with Frankenstein. Dorian seeks to defy the steady progress of time, and Victor seeks to create life and ultimately revive the dead. Both men are infantile in their desire to avoid the inevitable and natural conditions of the mortal existence. Dorian, like Victor, stares in horror at his creation, barely able to look at the spectacle he has created. The painting and the creature are abhorrent to all that view them, and reflect the imperfections and cruelty of society. Unfortunately, that is about as far as we can go with this assignment of the creator and creation roles. This is why most people tend to revert to that second instance I was talking about, the Sir Henry as the creator and Dorian as the monster theory. Unlike the creature of Frankenstein, Dorian as the monster appears beautiful when his morality and character are so deeply ugly. Frankenstein attempts to make his creature beautiful, but Sir Henry takes a beautiful man that already exists and decides to actively experiment on him. There is much more textual evidence for Sir Henry's scientific approach in creating the debauched, pleasure-seeking missile that is Dorian than there is of Dorian meticulously setting about imbuing the portrait with life, which is more an act of sudden magic. He wills it and then it happens, rather than it being the culmination of laborious work. Wilde lays out this methodical planning as he explicitly relays Sir Henry's diabolical scheming. It was clear to him that the experimental method was the only method by which one could arrive at any scientific analysis of the passions, and certainly Dorian Gray was a subject made to his hand and seemed to promise such rich and fruitful results. However, there is a fourth option, an interpretation that may be useful to us. The Basil and Sir Henry are two sides of the same coin, the benevolent creator and the malevolent creator. This depiction of the dualism in the creator matches the dualism inherent in Dorian and the portrait. However you choose to frame this comparison of the two texts, there is something desperately lonely about Dorian and the creature. Sybil Vane and the bride are both gone, and with them their last hopes of a genuine connection with another being. As a result of this loss of potential intimacy, they both go on a self-destructive rampage of a kind. The players may be interchangeable, but all the elements are there. Frankenstein and the picture of Dorian Gray may not be a matching pair, but they are different garments fashioned from the same cloth. What is this desire to create someone in our own image? And what happens when it goes horribly wrong? I want to close this with the creature describing the chronicling of his creation in Victor's lab notes. So I'm going to do all the social media jazz here. Find us on Twitter @thefrankenpod and visit our website, thefrankenpod.wordpress.com. Here we go. The creature describing the papers detailing his own creation. Everything is related in them, which bears reference to my accursed origin. The whole detail of that series of disgusting circumstances which produced it is set in view. The minutest description of my odious and loathsome person is given, in language which painted your own horrors and rendered mine indelible. I sickened as I read. Accursed creator, why did you form a monster so hideous that even you turned from me in disgust? God in pity made man beautiful and alluring, after his own image. But my form is a filthy type of yours, more horrid even from the very resemblance. Satan had his companions, fellow devils to admire and encourage him, but I am solitary and abhorred.